Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the Trade Ideas Live Trading Room Recap for what are we now? Thursday, March the 15th. My name is Barry Anderson, moderator of your trading room. Any questions you may have for me, you can use this email address. And this is a link to get into our free room. You don't have to be a member of Trade Ideas to participate in our room. This is a link for a subscription, instant 15% off savings, either for the first month if you take out a monthly or for the full year on an annual. I open the room at about 9 o'clock Eastern Time every day, and that's when I start to share my screen. And I get live on the mic at about 9:05. I go to 3:30 Mondays to Thursdays and 3 o'clock on Fridays. Wow, what another day, another incredible day in the room. Now, I have to show you this one because if you were in the room yesterday, you know that I've been really interested in this PTI. They had great news on their drug that came out, I guess, a couple of days ago. And I was really interested in this one, especially if it broke over 7. So yesterday, there's 5 o'clock right there. So I help out on the Q&A webinar that the guys do, Dan and Brad do on Wednesdays. So there I was sitting at my computer, listening to the start of the webinar, and I had seen this little pop. Then this is again, this mauve area here is after hours. Now they tell me this isn't. This is actually they released some earnings. This is not what I saw, but it doesn't really matter. Anyway, I watched this, and then I saw it come down again. And all right, it's just doing it's doing its thing. And as it started to move up and up and up, I said, you know what? This is maybe my time to take it. So I ended up taking this trade right here at 680. So there I am helping out in the webinar, and I'm watching this action. I mean, look at that. It got all the way up to 877. So I sold some at, what did I do at 856 in the post market. I sold some right up here. 850, well, yeah, right up there. So I got in right there, and in the post market, I sold right there. So that was just fantastic. What can I say? Now I did hold on to some because I wanted to see if this, because I mean this has no. Let me just take a look at a daily. Whoops. Take a look at a daily chart. Yeah, this has no resistance. If I expanded this out, this really has no resistance anytime soon. You see, this is why I really like this one. And some analysts are putting some pretty aggressive price targets way up here. So that is, I mean, we talked about this in the room today. Just get into the habit of always looking at a daily chart. You see a daily chart that looks like this, and a stock starts to move, you have to get excited about it. It's really that simple. So just get into the habit of having a daily chart. Don't worry about how far back to go. I mean, people are asking me, well, how far back do you go? Well, if I didn't see any of this, if it was still, if all this was just in this area, then I would have to start scrolling back to see. But, I don't have to. I can see right with my eyes, oops, right with my eyes, without looking at doing anything else, that this is an area in which, in theory, it could get to. Anyway, let me break back down to the 15-minute. So anyway, the market opens and it pops up almost to that high again. Anyway, bottom line is I am all out of the trade. 824 I got out, and just as it broke underneath 8, I got my last part out at 781, and now it's really starting to sink. I will continue to watch this. This news is a cystic fibrosis drug, cystic fibrosis drug, which received FDA approval. That is what caused this to happen on that day. It didn't have a follow through. It's interesting. Didn't really have a follow through. There was the high, there was the low. Yesterday, a little bit. See, all the uncertainty. When you get these topping tails and bottoming tails, that's just a lot of uncertainty. Anyway, I will continue to follow this going forward, though. So that definitely set a tone for me for the start of the day. And then our old friend RKDA. Now, these are difficult to trade. I almost don't like to talk about them in the room because I don't want to get people too excited about this sort of stuff. People get. They think that everything is just going to keep going up. They see a stock like this. It was at $12 and it hit $50, $55. This is one that is in the pre-market yesterday. I traded it, made I did very well on it. But people see this and they think, oh wow, the same thing's going to happen today. It's moving higher. It's going to go to 100. So don't like talking about it that much, but I did indicate that I took this trade. What was it at 57.38? 57.38. So it had pulled back. So right around here. Right around here, and then it popped all the way up to 66. I did not get out there, but I did get out at 61, 60, and then I actually lost a little on at 57. So did get out in this area here. It was up so quickly, it was down so quickly, and now look what it's doing. The disappointing one for me actually was I thought this Y10 would maybe piggyback this. This was running at the end of the day. A lot of people were saying that this is kind of the same sector as that one. I almost took this one in the post market when it broke over 3. Anyway, didn't do it. Now let's take a look at. Here's this Holly alert. This is interesting. A nice short from Holly today. Now the interesting thing is I should get to a 15-minute chart here, and you're going to see what happened. So we get the alert right here. There, that down arrow means to short. The only time we get down arrows if there were Holly alerts to short. Every time, all the other ones, normal alerts from any other alert window, they're always going to be up arrows. Doesn't mean long or short. It's just designating the candle in which it happened. With Holly alerts, you do get the candle, of course, but it's telling you the direction. Anyway, look what happened. The alert was at 10:52, so it was right there as it was moving down. And this was I haven't seen quite as tight a stop on a stock for a while from Holly, but it was a 10-cent stop, and she got stopped out right at 10.62. So that happened very, very quickly. I actually don't think I really saw that. I just saw it maybe in my closed window, because it would have been in my closed window, but I just saw this action. This was an earnings play, and then as it broke down through 10.50, I thought, okay, let's take this short. And so I got into the short at what was the price? 10.43. So it was about right here. Into the short right there, and had a nice pop immediately. I took some out, covered some, I think it was at 10.20. Covered some at 10.20. Which then allowed me to not worry too much about this. And then look what it did. I mean, then it really, really crashed down below 10, all the way down to 9.58. Took some more out. I gotta read my notes here. Was actually holding out. That's right. I was holding out to see if I could get $1. I needed something on the ask. What did I need? I needed 10. Geez, I'm sorry, guys. I needed 10.43 at 9.43 on the ask. Didn't quite get there. Anyway, bottom line is I got out all my position just under 10, 10.85 and 9.85 and 9.83, right around here. So that was a really nice Holly alert. And this is what I try to tell people. We get this question all the time. Do you have a video on how to use Holly? I mean, the answer is no, all right? Holly is a guide. She on this particular one, she was wrong to begin with, all right? Now, granted, if the stop had been way up here, and Holly got stopped out way up here, I may not have been as interested waiting for it, to get the re-alert down here as it's, maybe already moved 40 cents. It's possible I still would have been, but you have to, maybe try to have some trading, put on your trading hat a little bit. The stop was only 10 cents away, so she was maybe just, 15 minutes early, 5 minutes early getting into this one. Then afterwards, look what happened. So as I say to people, the Holly alerts can prove to be great watch lists. The stocks can be great watch lists for the whole day. So just because Holly got stopped out of this one very quickly doesn't mean that the original premise was all wrong of why she got into the short in the first place. So, but you can't put a video on that. I mean, you're listening to me talk about it, but that's how I treat most of the Holly alerts. I personally also like the cheaper Holly alerts, just a personal preference. They can have the bigger percentage moves, so that's what I kind of look for. So anyway, that was the Holly alert. What else did we do here? Well, the DXR. Now this is another one. This has been moving higher The last, and I missed it. Second here, this I missed it. I missed it yesterday. A lot of people, actually, like, what day is this? This is the 8th, March the 8th. So it had a huge day on March the 8th. Went from 357 all the way to 748, 750 or so. And the next day it popped up, and then it started pulling back. And then yesterday had another nice day, and then look today. So I did get into this one. I was very reluctant to talk about it because I don't. You can't take very many shares, and no matter what I say, like, don't take too many shares on these ones because they're very whippy. The spread was very bad. So when I'm talking about the difference between the bid and the ask, it was pretty difficult to get into it if you're going to take a lot of shares. But no matter, we have a lot of new people in the room. So anyway, I kind of did this one on my own. I said, okay, guys, and I know I talked about this bottoming tail right there. I said that's very significant. The sellers tried to knock it down to 1275. The buyers took over. They closed it here, and I said, watch what happens if it gets over 14 up to this area here. Takes this out. That's where I took this trade. I got in at 1445, and of course I sold some at 18, and I sold some at 1951. I'm all out of the trade now, but I mean, look how whippy it is. Even on a 15-minute chart, which is supposed to kind of tend to smooth things out, you've got all these topping tails and bottoming tails. That's what happens when you have a super low float situation. Again, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I mean, in this one, we have 748,000 shares in the float. Now, that may not be exactly right. This has probably done several reverse splits. And so, but it's, that 748 figure may not be exactly right. But look, it's going to be very, very low. So why is the float important? So I use the analogy in the room all the time. So the float basically is the supply of stock. So the lower that number, the better that is when, for whatever reason, there's demand. This is what's happened. There's low supply and high demand. So I use this analogy in the room all the time. If you were trying to sell your house and you're on this block and you're the only one selling your house on the block in the area, and you list it for $500,000, and then all of a sudden you get 20 people coming in wanting your house. What's going to happen? There's going to be a bidding war, isn't there? I almost guarantee you will not be selling your house for $500,000 anymore. So there's a supply. The very low supply is your house, and the demand is the number of buyers looking for your house. So that's exactly the same thing with a stock. The low supply, which is the float, and I consider anything under 20 million is low. But of course, something really crazy is, under a million is ridiculously low. And then, of course, then you have the flip side. And that's why a lot of times I don't get involved with high floats unless there is significant news. So the high float situation with the homes, now you're trying to sell your home in your area, and there are 100 other people trying to sell their home at $500,000, and there's only one buyer. So what's going to happen? I mean, there's an exaggeration. You'll never be able to sell at 500,000. So it's the same thing, You get a high float situation. It's going to take a lot to move that stock. So anyway, that is about it. I want to get back into the room. Lots of exciting things still happening. And I'm telling you, if this is a free room, so if you listen to this video day in and day out and you don't come in, I don't know why. We have fantastic traders in the room. It's certainly not about my telling you what to buy and sell all day long. And of course, if you're a Trade Idea subscriber, I do the best I can. I'm trading my account all day long, but I do the best I can to help you learn how to use Trade Ideas. And this is, I think, just a great resource for that. So let me bring back the capture program. And any questions for me? Here's the address to use, and you can request my layout. All the windows that I use, you can request it if you want them. Just send me an email to that info@trade-ideas.com, and I'll send you a link with all my windows and my layout. This is a subscription link. Sorry, this is the link to get into the room, and it is free. Believe it or not, it is free, no strings attached. This is a subscription link, 15% instant off, and I will open the room tomorrow at about 9 o'clock. That's when I'll start to share my screen, and I'll get live on the mic at 9:05. So I hope everybody has a great evening, and we'll see you in our trading room tomorrow. Bye-bye.